premium account on X is required to create a live broadcast. Please upgrade X off and then do that.
Is it gonna take a long time to do it?
What?
It says it needs an update.
It says we need the requirements. So, hopefully there's a little video here.
I have a master's in public administration, and I have a law degree.
How tall are you?
5'9",
Dress size?
16.
You didn't choose to be single.
I'm sorry.
How much do you weigh?
Who, me?
Mhm.
I weigh 200.
Okay, so all right, let me let you get your big ass up off my show because
Okay.
I don't do this.
You want to do that? You want to do that? You probably would definitely do that.
Let anyone say that I get my femininity from a gay man. I am not getting my cues on how to be a woman from a man with a beard and lipstick and lashes. We know how to be feminine without y'all. We know how to deal with our baby daddies without y'all. We know how to do fashion without y'all. But we love y'all and y'all have great opinions and we like your feedback. I feel like it's a slap in the face because when these toxic Black men be coming for y'all, who is the one that's always with y'all? Us. So here you get on stage when you finally having your moment and you sit there and basically shit on us and say, you're our blueprint? No, my dog, my nigga, we your blueprint.
Oh,
You can say you remixed it, but you are not a better woman than a woman. You're not. Santana, and that goes for everybody else that's doing it, okay? We don't need you. We want y'all. We love y'all. We provide a space for y'all that y'all can't get with them toxic Black men out there.
You know?
So it was a slap in the face to hear this.
Talking about
I have
they
fantastic makeup artists and glam that are women. Actually, they didn't do me today, obviously, but my best glam has been from Black women. And I'm making it a point in my productions to make sure Black women are getting hired and Black gay men. But I feel like they're getting pushed out of a space that they started. And we got to be careful about that, pitting the gay Black men against Black women, because we're all we got, y'all. We rock for y'all and you're supposed to rock for us. So it's slap. Saucy, you wrong for this. You having a badass week. You came for Blue Ivy a long time ago. We get it. We've all said dumb shit in the past. But say sorry. And then on the heels of that, like Al said, you have this. Get the F out of here with that. Because you walking around half in, half out with your look. It ain't, I don't see any of my friends copying that. If I get a beard or a mustache, that's coming off immediately. So don't tell me how to be a woman. You can't. But I also won't discount the value that gay men bring to glam, because y'all are damn good at it. Because you had to be. You had to be to get in those spaces where Black women were killing it. So, I don't think we should be shitting on each other. I don't think we should be having a us versus them. I think that's where the problem.
The girls used to
Like,
eat
it felt
me
like it
up,
was
baby, by her wig. And
I get you wanted to hype your crowd up, but I think he, like Al said, I think he just worded it wrong, because I get what he's trying to say.
Is when people are talking about each other with certain things, when you're going for somebody's identity, it's just, you know, when you're just talking about somebody's and you're talking about or this look or something like that, those are just nasty. Whatever. But if you don't like somebody,
your husband, why y'all divorced? What would he tell me?
Domestic violence.
Okay. How often did you beat his ass?
No, I'm the victim. And I'm okay with that. I thank God I got out alive.
And how long you been divorced?
For 2 years.
How long were y'all married?
7 months.
So now hold on. I know I got a new calculator, but you got kids that are like in their 20s.
Right.
About 2 different guys, about one.
About one.
Why didn't you marry him?
The last one?
No, the one that impregnated you once or twice.
Oh, he went to jail.
Oh, so you pick ass whoopers and felons. And then you're going to complain about
Well,
what other...
I mean-
I need you to stop right here, ma'am. I need you to slow the whole French toast down. I'm not going to let you get on here and talk about what black men are not when you picking dudes that whoop your ass and are felons. See, I'm not going to sit around and let you black women just sit around and talk about hey, black men ain't here and they ain't this, they ain't that, when in your own life, you pick shit.
Emotionally damaged people are always sexually promiscuous. Let me say this again. If you are traumatized, if you are emotionally damaged, you are promiscuous. And do you want to know why?
Why is that?
Emotionally traumatized people require constant validation from others. You married to a woman who's been traumatized, abuse, abandonment, whatever. When you're not around her for too many days, she has to entertain another man because her trauma dictates constant validation. And constant validation means I must have a man in my personal space. You ever date a woman who was crazy about you? She absolutely loved you, so you thought. It was really addiction.
Yeah.
When you finally let her go, when you finally got her to stop stalking you, she ended up with another man like that. And your ego took a hit. You said, wait a minute. I know that woman was crazy about me. Climbed in my window, came to my... You understand? She was crazy about your presence in her life. And the minute you distance yourself from her life, she found a replacement without a problem. Emotionally damaged people are promiscuous because they cannot go without constant validation.
They need that validation.
They need it. Most of our promiscuous women are damaged women. They're not having sex because they love having sex. They're having sex because they have learned this is the only way I can get a man's attention.
Hi.
Oh,
wait, what's her name?
Oh, Claudia Jordan. That's who CJ is.
What's up, girl? How you doing?
Good.
Now, me and Cardi had a little rocky history. She used to always be running her mouth about me on the internet and stuff, and I was gonna have to fight that all the time and love hip hop.
Santana, is it that bad that she had an opinion on something that was different than yours? So y'all can't hear each other.
Hocus pocus, get that bitch up out of here.
Oh my God, Saucy Santana. I've had to cover Saucy Santana on my wildly popular show, TGIF, and I had some criticism for him one time because of comments he said about women, and it kind of did go a little bit viral, what I had to say.
What's going on?
How you doing? And I haven't seen him since, so this should be interesting. I've done nothing but try to give you an opportunity on a show.
Yeah, right.
You're on YouTube.
Where are you?
I'm network television.
You get fired from every show. You're one season wonder with your peach repossessed.
You had 7 years.
Can Jennifer sing to you?
No.
It doesn't surprise me because him and Claudia, he's drinking a cat lady Kool-Aid.
That's
and
not
I'm
why.
You couldn't see dark-skinned people in a party because it was so dark. You can only see teeth. You just said that?
Gosh, Claudia, really?
I was at an all-black party, and I made a joke as a black woman. A lot of stuff on Google about you, Jennifer, that's not so complimentary. This is spread open on the internet that you were saying to a married...
Is that my face?
There's your face right there.
Okay.
Tiffany, can you get her on box? Maybe she'll get another check, and then she could make those cards.
Okay, so...
Don't try and deflect what you said about black people. I'm like, how many you...
Wait, how many people you right now?
One.
Really? They have girlfriends?
Don't worry about who.
All right. So,
Bet you don't want to go there.
Okay.
Use protection. How about that?
Be right back with more of the next
You do.
15 reunion.
Yeah, I do, because I'm a grown-ass woman.
But a grown-ass spread all over the net.
I do what I
World
want.
star.
Oh, bitch, please. It's not my...
It is yours.
Please.
With
bitch.
those dusty nails.
Let's not bitch worn the out.
Take
Yours
her
looks
out,
really
too.
worn out.
And Laura.
And you need a manicure.
Gosh.
Bitch, you need a rejuvenation. On all levels.
The black church caters to the black woman. And the reason the black church caters to the black woman is because the black woman is the provider. She has more income and education than the man. So they're looking at this financially. They also have a vested interest in her never getting married. The pastor is the metaphorical husband of all the single women in the community. I'm not saying he's sleeping with them. I'm saying he's keeping them so distracted with Jesus that they never find a husband, and that's the way he wants it to stay. Because if she finds a husband, she won't have as much time to be donating to the church home. Wow. So the Black church benefits from single motherhood. They don't want our sisters married because their pockets would go down.
Men with power, men of value, cheat because they should. A lot of you ladies aren't going to like what I have to say, but I don't really give a French toast doggone. Because when you are in the top 10% of men and almost 100% of women want you, just like Pringles, you can't just eat one or Lay's or whatever. Why is it that so many women today seem to really honestly believe that in a connected world, a man who has separated himself and rose to the top has to be limited to you?
This is another thing I want to address too, because it seems like there's a lot of homophobic rhetoric that goes on specifically with Black women, and nobody in the LGBT ever holds Black women accountable. We don't have women on the show say, oh, because Black women and LGBT, we have this alliance or whatever the case is. But a lot of the rhetoric that Black women say towards Black men is very homophobic, and nobody calls them out for that. So you could openly just say, well, y'all gay, this, that, and the third, even though they not gay. And y'all swear every Black man is secretly gay, which is not a fact. There's no data to prove that. Just because a man doesn't automatically see you and want to spend money on you, then, oh, he must be gay.
Claudia Jordan exposing the ladies of the Real Housewives of Atlanta was not on my bucket list.
That was kind of what was shocking to me, because I'm like, we all know reality TV ain't really all reality, because girlfriend, you know you renting that outfit. You know you don't really live there. You know that ain't your real boyfriend. You know you knew about that scam. You know you're not as religious as you pretend to be. Big old freak behind closed. Stop it. Knock it off. You know you're really cheating. You know you don't really have that degree. Please, like, I'll go along with it, though. We can play the game. Sure, let's play the game. Let's make good reality TV, and let's all go for a drink at Houston's or wherever y'all like in Atlanta, and we can move on. Like, I just thought that was so goofy to bring it home. Like, I was like, you really are mad over a scene? And then what I also hate was you may actually make progress with someone on the show, right, and really squash a beef, right? Me, if I squash with someone on camera, off camera, I actually am naive enough to think it's really squashed, right? So you squash a beef, and then the problem with reality TV is 3 months later when it actually airs, and they see what you said in your confessional, you see what they said, they mad again, and you're like, well, girl, of course I was reading you in the confessional. You was reading me. That's what I hate. That's another thing I can't stand about it. So yeah, it does get very real. And I think we'll have a better chokehold on them and them having a chokehold on us when we manipulate the game like they are manipulating us. They love seeing Black women fight on television, but give them a little show and then go for drinks afterwards. Be like, girl, you know what I mean?
That with you on why I'm leaving this side of it, because the expectations are so unrealistic. Because you can't have expectations like that and no preparation. You don't even study men. Like, how do you want a man and you don't study even how to talk to a man? You don't even study, how men process. You don't even study so
much ego and pride. There's nothing. It's just they demand these traditional, like I said, traditional men, but they want to be modern and wonder why they're not attracting certain men. They're barely.
You women don't have any problems expressing yourself when it's something negative to a male. But let a woman come up here and we have to have a real talk moment. All of a sudden, I don't like this show because I feel low. You don't like the show because your ass don't want to take direct criticism. And you know what? That's why your ass is going to be watching me as long as I do the show. And you ain't going to get a man because
last year and the beginning of this year, I stopped matchmaking. And the reason I stopped matchmaking is because I literally was I can't handle female clients. I was a matchmaker that matched females, and I had a few male clients, but predominantly I was matching women. And listen, it was such a valuable lesson for me, because what I learned is that the average woman doesn't really want just a good man. She doesn't want a husband. What she's really wanting are these standards or ideas that she has of what a man is supposed to be. But this is nothing what men are. This is not realistic for who men are, how they think, what they value. It's just this preconceived, you know, idea that women have of who men should be. But this is not reality. Okay. So literally the standards here that I see consistently in women that stay single, do not get married, and the difference between women and wives is understanding, one, that men are not women. He's not going to be your best friend like your best girlfriend. You can't talk to him like that. They don't talk like that. They don't talk that much. They're not so sensitive and girly the way we
need to stop calling women queens. First, let me apologize to you. I am sorry, Black woman, that you did not have your father in the household. I am sorry that you did not get to be a little girl and get to be daddy's little princess. I'm sorry you didn't get that. I am. It's truly unfortunate that so many of you did not have a chance to be a princess and daddy's little girl and all that stuff. However, you're over 18. Princess is reserved for women teenage and under. The only way to become a queen is to be married to a king. You're not queens, nor are you princesses. See, when you walk around telling women that they're royalty, you cannot be surprised when they act in an elite fashion. Look, you may be special to your son, your daughter, your family, a particular group or segment of the men in your race, but you're not special. You're just a woman. You're average, you're normal.
Why are you wearing a cross on your neck?
Color coordinating with your neck?
Because I don't see a cross as religious, so.
Okay, just like you don't see a marriage as religious.
I don't think that a marriage
have meaning. This is why it's like we're out of stage. People are like, "What is a woman?" Because they just go, "Well, we're going to call it a marriage, but we're going to sleep with other people. We're going to bring in prostitutes. We're going to outsource raising the kids, or we're never going to have kids." You're calling it a family. It's not a family, and this is what it is. The words have no meaning, right? I'm wearing the cross. Why? I don't know. I don't think of it as religious. Okay, well, Jesus Christ died on the cross.
You think that.
That's what you think.
Wait,
It's been proven.
You think. So why are you wearing the cross?
Because I think it's cute.
You just think that the design is cute.
Yeah.
Better wait, really
I
quick.
grew up
Hold on.
Catholic. I was religious, and I'm not
Prostitution,
anymore. I don't have to believe in what you believe, and I can say that if
I didn't say you had to believe. I asked you a question.
But
I
you're
said, why are
telling
you
me,
wearing the cross?
Okay, and you're saying that the religious aspect of marriage is the only thing that matters. It's not, because people don't follow what you believe.
Yeah. Okay, I asked you why you're wearing the cross, and you said because you thought it was cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad we got it
Very
down.
cool.
She's wearing the cross around her neck because she thinks it's cute.
I do. I'm not religious.
People don't tell women the truth these days. Men get told the truth all the time. Women have no problem telling a man, I don't want an average man. It happens every day on my show. TLC said they don't want no scrubs, and we have no problem telling average men, you ain't crap. But if I just happen to have the nerve to agree with the woman that says she's average, then I'm Satan. I think that's interesting.
What do you think about same-sex marriage?
It's a sin.
You think I'm sinful because I'm married to a man?
Yeah.
You do?
Yes, you're sinning. You are in a sinful relationship. I actually don't believe marriage can be between two men. So I don't.
Hello, world.
Hey, Dallas.
I'm Alvin.
I'm Charles.
And welcome to Tit for Tat.
This and that.
And today we are going to be talking about the dissension, discord that goes on between gay men, trans, the queer community, and how it correlates with heterosexual Black women. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this subject today is I was over there watching Conscious TV, CTV. I was watching Conscious, and I was down in the comments. Stay conscious. And then I was down in the comments, you know, and I was listening to Conscious, and then but I was also down in the comments, you know, typing, you know, and what I'm noticing is that a lot of these, you know, a lot of the channels that that are operated or owned by like gay, queers, trans, you know, there's a lot of heterosexual females. That's, you know, it's like mostly it's mostly their fan base, you know, if you can say fan base, you know, because the reason why I say if you can say fan base, because a lot, you know, there's a lot of them, they are their fans, but there's a lot of them in there, and I don't know if they're trolling or if, you know, if they're actually, you know, they're true subscribers that, you know, like their content or whatever. But I'm noticing not just in Conscious, you know, but we've been in T.S. Madison, you know, Bag Talk. I've been in Craig's Live. You know, I've been in Make It Make Sense. I've been in, you know, quite a few of them. And the women, and it's not all. So if the, you know, if it doesn't apply to you, then it's not you. You know, for you heterosexual women out there. You know, if the shoe don't fit, then don't wear it. You know, so I'm not talking to you. But for those women that are out there that are constantly in the comments, and I have seen some where they go from channel to channel, and they're, you know, they'll be in Conscious stream, and they'll go over to somebody else's stream, you know, or whatever, and then they'll make these comments, you know, about gay guys and queers and trans, and they're also, you know, they're on this, you know, protect Black women, you know, which, you know, I'm for that too, you know, or whatever. Not all Black women, because all Black women, just like anybody, everybody doesn't deserve, you know, everybody doesn't deserve to be protected or whatever when you're being malicious or, you know, hateful, you know, or whatever, or displaying some of those type of, you know, harmful characteristics or whatever. So I don't know why, you know, I should, you know, waste my energy or whatever protecting you or whatever, you know, when you're not actually protecting us, you know. So, but anyway, so the comment that spurred me to want to do this live here was Conscious had asked the question, because they were talking about TGIF being canceled, and, you know, with Al Reynolds, Armand Wiggins, Funky, Claudia, you know, and all that type of stuff. And so he had asked the question, and he wanted people to come up in his live to comment on it. But down in the comments, there were, you know, just the women just kept going on about Claudia being canceled because she's a Black woman, you know. And then you know, and so I actually typed in the comments, like, what does her being a Black woman have to do with the show being canceled? Right. You know, because there was a whole bunch of other issues and stuff that was going on. You know, if it was because she was a Black woman, you know, then they wouldn't have hired her anyway.
Or got rid of her.
Or they would have got rid of her sooner than the 4 or 5 years that TGIF was on. So I just asked the question, you know, what does her being a Black woman have to do with the show being canceled? And then, like, the women started, you know, not all of them, because, you know, some of them agreed with that statement that I had made, but then quite a few of them were coming in, you know, where, like, there was other, you know, queers and trans and stuff that was in there also, you know, asking the same thing. What does that have to do with it? But the heterosexual women came in, you know, with their, you know, because she's a Black woman, and and then they started some of that, men, and then gays, you know, don't really like Black women, like as if we have some animosity or something, or we want, you know, and then it's like we want to be them, you know, and we're emulating them, you know, or whatever. And I've heard this same stuff out of Claudia, you know, when I would be watching TGIF and she goes off on her, you know, her rants and stuff about, you know, trans, or about gay men wanting, you know, emulating women. And, you know, and I showed a collage of videos before we started our show here of her with some of her comments or whatever. And my thing is, you know, to me, she's a She doesn't like when you say she's transphobic or homophobic, or whatever. But to me, she's like a closeted, transphobe and a homophobe, whatever. I have gay friends, I have trans friends, but in the background, she really has some other type of feelings towards, it's not like, it might not be like a strong phobia, but to me, there's some type of phobia there, of why she feels this way. And there's a lot of women, heterosexual women that actually listen to Claudia, and they've jumped on her bandwagon when she starts making comments, because at first there was a lot of women that didn't even like her for different reasons. Some of them didn't even like her just because she was light skinned and mixed or whatever. Some of them didn't like her because she was pretty. Some of them didn't like her because she had a nice body or the men were going after her or whatever. But once Claudia hopped on this, men are dogs, and men are this, and then she started hopping on the, gay men this and trans this, then a lot of women, and then she did that whole, protect Black women thing, then heterosexual Black women started jumping on her bandwagon and defending her no matter what she says, no matter what she does, right? And then so I actually typed in the comments, Claudia is quite messy and she plays the victim. And then, I started getting some of the little comments, Claudia's not messy. She's just a strong Black woman and she defends herself, or whatever. But then the comments were coming through about the, where they were saying that, because Armand Wiggins and Armand Wiggins and Al Reynolds were, Armand Wiggins is gay and then Al is bi, right? So then they started going in on that they wanted to attack her because she's a Black woman, because they are men, and they're gay men, they made certain comments about that. But as if because there's two men on the panel, that's why they wanted to attack her, because she's a Black woman. So I want to kind of try to understand what this is, where some of this stems from, where this whole, protect Black women, came from, started stemming from or whatever. So I started asking, I know me and you had the discussion, but then I was at the gym and I asked my friend Kelly, who is a, heterosexual straight Black male. And then I asked some women at the gym too, which were heterosexual, straight Black women. And all of them were giving me different views. And then, some of them were like, you need to go watch Kevin Samuels, which I have heard the name, but I never watched anything. I ain't know nothing about him or anything like that. So then I asked my son, I said, have you ever heard of Kevin Samuels? And then he says, yeah. And I said, did you listened to him before? And he said, yeah, I listened to him. And my son actually, enlightened me with some stuff, because I didn't even know that he agreed with a lot of that stuff that Kevin Samuels said, where he was saying that, women this or women that. And I'm not down in women or anything like that, I have no animosity, I love women just like I love men. So, but I do want to try to understand where some of this comes from. So I started watching Kevin Samuels videos. I started watching Claudia Jordan, some more of her stuff, and then I pulled up the Saucy Santana. I saw what set Claudia off, which I knew what set her off because I'd actually seen it on TGIF, because I used to watch them kind of, all the time at work a lot. But I'm trying to, I just kind of want to figure out where this animosity, where they rock with us, when we're, I guess when there's gays that are doing their makeup or their hair, or they can walk with them into a premiere or a show or something, like that. But in the background, these same women, who are with the, rocking with these guys, on the TV screen or whatever, in the background, it's those same women, not all, but a lot of them, who are making these disparaging comments about gay Black men, queers, and trans. And so I want to understand, is it where some of this animosity comes from? Is this like because there are these bi men or DL men out there, and I guess women have come across them or have dated them or married them or whatever, and it's left some type of maybe, some type of bad feeling in their mouth or something, so that they kind of equate that to like a whole lot of gays and stuff? Or, you know, is it the masculine thing, you know, like me, you know, where they think gay men aren't, you know, aren't being masculine enough, you know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot to this, you know, the religion thing, you know, because when me and you were talking about it at Chewy's the other day, right? You brought up the religious angle, you know, like some of them, you know, they feel like it's, you know, since it's abomination to God or whatever and stuff, you know. But then I also had that discussion. It's like, but they're also doing all this other stuff out there that, you know, that the Bible considers as abomination to God. You know, most black women out here, you know, and the men had to help. You know, they have children out of wedlock. They're in the church. They go to church. A lot of them go to church every Sunday, but they're still having premarital sex, you know, or all that type of stuff. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on. So I don't think they can use that religious angle, you know, to say, well, this is why I don't, you know, they can, but it's not, I don't think that should work, but, you know, they can. But, you know, this is why I really don't, you know, really like queers, trans, you know, whatever. But what do you think about this? You know, whatever.
Well, I can only go by what we put up a poll 10 days ago, and the poll said that it's basically a lack of understanding and communication that, you know, from the people. I can assume a lot of things, and, you know, I can think there's a lot of things that could bring this animosity. But we asked the people, we asked you guys out there, and you guys said there was a lack of understanding and communication. So that got 40% of the votes on the poll. And then 20% was pressures, societal pressures and stereotypes. And then 20% competition for attention or other resources like money. And then 20% of influence of what is seen in the media. So seems like it was basically a misunderstanding and miscommunication that.
So that's what is that what you think it is? Because you said that's the only thing which you can go by. Is that?
Well, I asked them. I mean, because I haven't talked. So I don't know the black women that feel this way. I don't. If I do, they haven't voiced it. So that's why I put the poll out there, put the survey out there to see what they would say or whatever. And according to the poll, they said lack of understanding and communication. I mean, but I don't know how many people did it. It was just 40%. Like I said, I can assume and come up with a lot. I mean, I can think there's a lot of things. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on, you know, some things or whatever, but I don't know every black woman, all the black women that think right, all the black women that think this way, because I haven't spoken to any black woman that felt like what you're describing.
So when you're just say you're watching videos and stuff, you know, like that, you're on somebody else's channel. Just take for instance, T.S. Madison and Bag Talk or whatever. And so when you hear people voice those concerns, like either in the comments, I don't know, do you go down in the comments in their stuff? You don't go.
I mean, I see them if they're live, but if I'm not watching it live, I don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when I'm watching it live, that's when I go into the comments.
Yeah,
if I'm not watching it live, I don't go into the comments. I do sometimes, but usually when I'm watching it live, I'm in the comments with them.
Right.
But you know, I've heard T.S. Madison, you know, speak on this issue too, with about black women. You know how they're with us one way, but then all of a sudden they turn on us. You know, as if we're in competition, you know, like the gay man or whatever is in competition with them. Like, do they feel, you know, like we're in competition with them with their men, you know, or we're going after their men or whatever. So they always are on alert. Do you think they're always on alert? Well, yeah, you know, I'll accept you or be with you halfway, but I really don't rock with you past here or whatever, because y'all probably, y'all after our men. Or with the trans, you know, they think that the trans is in competition with them, you know, because, and I go off of some of what Claudia says, because she just goes in on trans a lot, you know, whatever. and to me, it might be a jealousy thing with her also, because these trans women can look so gorgeous and beautiful and shapely, or whatever. And sometimes, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they are prettier or shapelier or curvier than heterosexual women. Sometimes they're not, or whatever. But it seems like, Black women think we're in competition with them. As us being gay men, I think they put us into that femme category, as if, and we're not all feminine, some of us are more masculine, more feminine than others. Some of us express both masculine and feminine energy. But, I think, it's just my opinion. I think that some Black women think that we are in competition with them, or, the men are so scarce, the Black men are so scarce out there anyway, that they have to they have to compete with us or something for the man. And really, you don't have to compete with us, because if the man ain't interested in us, then we're not gonna get them anyway, no matter whether we're interested in them or not. You know what I'm saying? So, what's your opinion on that? Kind of what do you think brings on that mentality? And I'm not saying all heterosexual women, because my friends that are women, there's some of them that are like that, but most of my friends that are women, they're totally comfortable with gays. They don't rock with us. They come out and there's some who come out and protest me when I'm out there protesting. They've come out with me and protested. Now, mostly it was white heterosexual women that was out there protesting when I'm out there protesting for women's rights, and women being abused, or Black people, Black men and stuff being killed at the hands of the police, or other, white women or white men or whatever. And I'm out there protesting in these streets and stuff, like that. And what I will say is, when I am out there protesting and I go to, and it's all Black protests, basically mostly all Black, or whatever. When it's for Black men or a Black people that's been killed or something like that, lots of Black men and lots of Black women are out there. But when I'm out there protesting for anything trans, queer, gay, LGBT issues and stuff, or equality, or whatever, I don't see very few Black women. I see very few Black men out there unless they're queer themselves. But I see very few Black women out there protesting with us and rocking with us. You know what I'm saying? But I do see us out there on the front lines, and even in legislation and stuff, supporting them and voting for their rights, and and stuff. But I don't see a lot of them that come out and rock with us and vote for us, and support our legislation, as much as we do for them.
Well, I mean, as far as the competition, if there is competition, because I don't know, I haven't spoken to any Black women like that, but if they do feel like there's competition, I would want to know, or let me just say, the only way I think that they would assume there's competition for me is by thinking that because we get a lot of maybe like airtime, and it seems like we're going into spaces that maybe they wish they had, or spaces that were not afforded to us at one time. Maybe that's where the competition comes from. I mean, like, I can only assume. So if there is competition, like, what is the root? Because I don't know if there is, but if there is, why would there be competition? And only thing I can think of is, for you to compete, you're a Black woman and you feel like you're competing with a gay Black male. Only thing I can think of is that you think that I hold a greater place in whatever arena, whether that's in the entertainment business, makeup, fashion, whatever. You feel like I have advanced to a place in that area where maybe you feel like you should dominate, and now I'm there now, and so you feel like hey, why is this, for lack of a better word, how y'all talk, why is this punk here or whatever, and it's like, because I've earned it, because I went to school. I think in one of the videos, even I think Claudia said that, she said you had to go, you had to be better, you had to find, and then plus we, as far as makeup, and I can't really say we, but I'll just say the guys that do the makeup, they really, I think, have gone into another area of that, because they have got their skills up so much that they can make a man look like a woman. And most women that do makeup, they do it on other women. I mean, that's easy. Just put some makeup on. But the gays are over here making a man look like a woman. So that's like
you have to contour and do a whole. You have to go above. Because of all of our, with that 5 o'clock shadow and just the contour and the nose, sometimes just the ruggedness of our features.
So
we had to go above them.
So we bring a greater skill to that area, because it's like, I mean, we're working with a male and we're transforming them into a. So I think, to me, I mean, that's the only thing that I can think right now. I mean, there's probably other reasons too, but for the competition, I think that they feel like that we are in spaces that they should be in, and maybe we're getting more fame or more likes or whatever than they are, and so they feel like there's a competition.
So let me dispel that myth that women created femininity. That women, they're the gatekeepers of femininity, of makeup, of hair, lashes, lipstick, and stuff. If like we talked about in some of our other videos, know your history. Before you go saying this type of stuff, know your history. Okay, way back, 4,000 BC, 4,000 and beyond BC or whatever. Men were wearing makeup, wigs, hair, lipstick, eyelashes. They contoured their noses, their faces. Egyptian kings and queens. The Israelites. The Jews. The Romans. All the Africans. Okay, all back in ancient times, all the way up even till present, because kings and queens, a lot of them, even in this modern time, some kings and queens still put on the wigs and the makeup and stuff, and it's not always for what like Claudia or some women think, like men are trying to be women, or we want to take something from them, or we're making fun of them.
Right.
We're not making fun, there might be a few out there that's like that, but most people are not, most men are not making fun of women. And then the opposite of that is, there's some women who like to dress up like men. There's some women, and they're heterosexual, they like wearing men clothes. They like having what's called, considered a man haircut, or whatever. Some of them like the hair under their arms, and you know what I'm saying? And some of them will put on men's shoes and clothes, and they're heterosexual. Okay. But there's also, just say like we talked about before, when you go to Halloween, you can go on Halloween to the block parade. You know what I'm saying? I have my surgeon friends, that heterosexual, okay, and they've been out there. They've been out to the gay parade, Halloween thing, and they've been dressed up. Right. Those women have dressed their husbands up as women, and then they dress themselves up as men, and they go as opposite. I don't hear the women complaining about that, like the women, you know what I'm saying, like the way they do us, and we're doing it. We're, and this was in the comments. Y'all are mocking us. You're making fun of us. And you want to be us, and this type of stuff. And Claudia, that's coming out of her mouth. There ain't no man with no eyelashes and no wig and a mustache and beard gonna tell me how to be a woman. Well, no one's telling you how to be a woman, or a female, because technically, yeah, y'all are females, but woman is not exclusive. That's not exclusive to females, and all this natural born shit, and real shit, and stuff. They don't want us to call them, they don't want us to say sis. They don't want us to say fish. They don't want us to say this. They don't want us to say that. But they can use whatever language they want for us, and then if we want you to call us real women, why do we have to call you real women? We know that you're real. You're alive. You're a human being. Okay. I'm alive. I'm a human being. That makes me real. Okay. I'm alive. I'm a human being. That makes me biological. Okay. Just like it makes you biological. We don't have to go and say, I'm a real woman, whatever. It seems to me like there's a lot of insecurity coming in there, or whatever, where, just because we use the word fish or cis or something, that sets them off and they don't want to be called that, or whatever. Well, and then some gays and queers and trans, they'll stop saying this stuff so they can appease the heterosexual woman, but they're not stopping saying what they want to say about us. Right. And I know this because I'm in those comments and I see it, and they're still, they're saying this and they're saying that type of stuff. So, but as far as history, if you go back into history, you will see that, and even up to this day, men, there's still men who make in some countries and in some ethnicities and stuff like that, they still wear makeup and they do their face up, and some of them do it up better than women. I showed that video, the video of that African tribe, where the women, the men, in order to get a wife or to get a wife or whatever, they have to put on and adorn makeup, and all the lipstick and all the stuff, and the women choose them according to how good they look in that makeup and those dresses that they have on. That's their culture, So for Claudia or any other woman out there to say that women have the they have the whatever it is, on the hold on makeup and wigs and stuff, like that glam, then that's not true. Right. Now you can talk about your femininity and stuff all you want, but there, I've seen some women that are not really feminine at all. Right. And they're heterosexual, and nobody's bashing them. And, I don't see the men really, I mean, there might be some out there to do it, but I don't see the men really going out there just bashing the men, what they call tomboys and stuff, like that, or trans men. We're not paying them no attention like that, where, like heterosexual men ain't going out there worrying about whether they're coming into their bathroom, or whether they're dressed up like a man or whatever, or going into the barbershop, getting their hair cut, whatever. You don't hear heterosexual straight men really talking about it. You might be a few, but you don't really hear them talking about that issue about them that much. The way women go in on us, and or put us in the category just because we are gay men or whatever, they see us as a threat, or they see us as, us wanting to be feminine and stuff, like that. I've never wanted to be a woman, never wanted to wear women clothing or whatever. I have for Halloween, and I did crash a baby shower, and it, and my fridge, which was a woman, actually dressed me up like that or whatever. We went into this baby shower and everybody had so much fun, or whatever. It was hilarious. But I wasn't making fun of women, my woman, my friend is a woman, Michelle French, which she's since died, she died a few months ago. But she was a woman who actually, a heterosexual woman who actually made me up, whatever. And it was just fun. I wasn't making fun of women. So why women get into this mindset that gay men are wanting to be them, and gay men, are mocking them and stuff like that. I just don't know where that energy comes from, and I would like to understand it. You know what I mean? Right. And so Slick, you're out there. If you're still out there, Slick, do you have anything you would like to say about this? Because you usually have good commentary. You know, I've seen some stuff on Slick's channel, you know, where she touched on this type of stuff too. So, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much that we want to be them. I think we get some gay men get inspiration from them. They get, you know, inspired. You know, they pay homage to them or whatever. But that's not to take anything away from them and their femininity. And again, it's not that femininity is only designated for women. Right. Men can be feminine as well. Right. It's like women can be masculine. Like women can, just right. Women can be masculine as well. So it's not that we're trying to be you or take your place or, you know, whatever. It's just it's more like a admiration. It's more of a, you know, paying homage, you know, like the drag queens or whatever. They're just paying homage. They see a light in you that they resonate with. That's why now you're finding people coming out and saying, you know, even though I'm in this male body, I know I feel like I'm a female, and I want to live my life like that. And maybe they noticed something, maybe that it just came up in them, or maybe they noticed something in a female that they see every day and be like, you know what, I resonate with you more than I resonate with this male or whatever. So I think I want to go, you know, in this direction or whatever. So it's nothing to take away from you guys. It's no competition whatsoever. I'm sorry, you know, and I apologize for the spaces that, you know, you feel that you have earned or you deserve, and we've taken them. But, you know, if I really want to be really sassy, I'll say something like the 10 snaps and step your pussy up. You know, but no, it's not even about that. I just feel like, you know, the job goes to the best man or woman, you know, or, you know, maybe that just wasn't the place for you, or, you know, that's not your season or whatever. But that's not to say that you can't make it in that same field, in that same area or whatever. Like you said, if Claudia was the reason for the show canceling, they could have just got rid of Claudia. You know, they could have fired her and brought another person on there or whatever. If you know, if she was the reason for the show failing or whatever,
they all were the reason. Yeah. Here's the real reason is y'all embarrassed those higher up white folks. Y'all started embarrassing them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all were talking a little bit too much about the Karens and the Beckys and the white folks in the world. You know, they couldn't just come and really get rid of y'all without them being sued. But once y'all started they gave them the outlet to get rid of them when they with a few other stuff that they were covering and talking about, and then they did that roast and stuff too. And when they brought Star Jones into it and stuff, you know, all this type of stuff into it too, then that those higher up, which is Fox News, you know, which whether they like to be called that or not, they're still a racist network, right? And they gave them the out so they could get rid of them, because they've been wanting to get rid of them for a while. They just had to have the right reason to get rid of them. And when they with that roast and a few other stuff, and then all that fighting and stuff in the background with with the production team and then HR and stuff, you know, like that, they gave them the reason to actually let them go. Because technically, you know, this whole 250,000 thing, you know, whatever, that's not a lot of money, people. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now it might be to some, but that's not going to get you through retirement. Right. You know, or whatever. So $250,000, you know, for people who don't have money or don't know how to, you know, who don't know how to manage money or don't know how to get money or whatever, then that's a lot to them or whatever. And a lot of people are using that 250,000 as to say, and you know, why would you give up your bag and stuff? Sometimes your livelihood, your peace of mind, your sanity, you know, you would give up that, you know, you would give up that type of money for, you know, but that's not the reason why, but, you know, because Fox News could have paid them a whole lot more like they pay their other commentators,
Right.
you know, they pay their other commentators in the millions. Okay. So they were still lowballing them, you know, and that's just like that little 2 or 3 minute video I put out some months ago when before, you know, when TGI was getting canceled, I put out that it was this a niggerectomy, right? And I put that out there before a lot of people was even talking about that, you know, because once this stuff's going on, I already knew, okay, they're getting ready to get rid of them.
Right.
But now they just gave them the excuse. And anybody knows anything about HR and corporate, whatever, you know, whatever. People fight in these meetings all the time. In your corporate board meetings and stuff like that, they go at it. They talk worse than anything they've ever said on it. They're cussing each other out and stuff, you know, like that. Ain't nobody getting fired. You know what I'm saying? They gave them the reason to fire them because they didn't want to do that. But, you know, to go back to, you know, like what you were saying. Oh, here goes Slick. And Slick says, I feel like they're phobic and jump on any excuse they can. Also, some women are still in survival mode. And if men are how they survive, then they're going to be paranoid about queer folk. That's kind of like, let me see what else she said, because they don't know how our world works, you know, and I don't even know if they, you know, they don't even know how their own world works. You know, some of us we don't even know how, you know, it's everything's always ever evolving.
Well, in their world, I think they see everything as a competition. Like, I think we were talking when we was at Shooters. I was like, when I worked in it wasn't a call center, but it was like a shared center or whatever. Everybody was competing. Right. And you tried to prove yourself better than the next person, especially when it was time for reviews. Because if I get a better review, I get, you know, some money with it or whatever. It was all about competition. So you want to put the next person down to make yourself up higher. So I think in the world, it's competition across the board. I'm going to compete with the other black girl. I'm going to compete with the gay. They just see competition, period. They compete with each other. I got to go get this new purse because this girl got the purse. Or I got to go get these red bottoms because this person got the red bottoms. Or I got to drive this car because, you know, I got to get the Range Rover because this person got a Range Rover. It's just competition. It's status. It's, you know, you're trying to prove something. And like you say, does this make you happy? That's the cars depreciate as soon as you pull off the lot or whatever. So it's not really doing much to you. I mean, for you, unless you're just around all those people that are superficial like that or whatever. But I think in their work, I mean, it's just all about competition. And we bring a threat, we bring a threat to that, whatever, because maybe we can do it better than them. Like I said, you can make up just a regular woman. We can make up a man and a woman, but a man to look like a woman. So, I mean, you know, and most of y'all cannot do that because you have not, you know, you're probably learning to do it or whatever.
There's very few straight women that'll be able to make up a man and cover up all this. Yeah. You know, and contour and do, you know, they can do a great job, you know, like Claudia, like can't no man do what a woman do, my glam and so and so. Well, actually they can. Right. You know, and they do. You know, whatever, they're not in competition with you're in competition with yourself and other women is what it seems like. And seems like there's a lot of insecurity going on with her anyway. But what you just said was, you know, with this competition thing, and it seems like women will hop on the same bandwagon, you know, without any knowledge or research or anything like that. Men do it too, but you know, gays do it too. Yeah. But it seems like when they just hop on this whole protect Black women, you know, when they just hop on that bandwagon and all of a sudden they all start saying it, and then they all start going in bashing. They put most black men in this category, not just some, but a lot of these black women are putting most of us black men in this category of like we're just no good, and then we're dogs, or or we're abusers, and stuff, like that. And that's just not true. I don't think most black men are like. I think it's probably quite a few, but I don't think it's most black men.
It's not most black men. It's the ones that they attract.
Right.
It's just like if you attract, like mindsets or whatever. So if and if that's the way you think all men are, that's what you're gonna receive.
Right.
And probably he's not even like that, but that's all you're gonna see because that's all that your mind is thinking or whatever. So that could be the best man for you, but because you see little things here, only because you think all men are like this, that's what you're gonna see. And he could have innocently just did something, but because your mindset is, oh, he's gonna hurt me, he's gonna dog me, he's gonna cheat on me, he's gonna steal from me, whatever, then that's what you're gonna see. So you're actually setting yourself, what do they call it? You're self-destroying yourself, self-sabotage or whatever.
And they're choosing these type of men. And then here's the thing: sometimes they don't know that those men are like that when they first meet them or whatever. But once those signs start showing, or whatever, that this is an abuser, or this man is not going to treat me right, or he's talking to me this way and treating me this way, you need to get out before it goes this further. When you continue and you go into it, and then you just put yourself in that position to be abused and stuff. And then when you stay in it, even when it starts happening and you get in that relationship, once it starts happening with that type of abuse or something like that, then you got to get out. If you don't get out, then you can't blame, you can't go and blame all black men for being this way or being that way when you chose that type of thing. That's on you. Because we all can get into, unknowingly get into abusive or bad relationships and stuff, toxic, or whatever. They like us being gay men, those men will lie us to our face and do all whatever stuff too. But once you know this is happening, you gotta stop it and get out. Because if you don't, then then we're to blame for for that type of stuff. I can't go blaming women, or all men because this one did that to me and I allowed it. You know what I'm saying? So but with this competition thing, like I said, in the healthcare industry, it's dominated by women. Okay. Most healthcare is going to be 95% women, right? And then you have your surgeons and stuff. Most of them are men, but a lot of women are coming into the field or in the field too. But most of the surgeons and anesthesiologists and stuff, and the other doctor stuff, most of them are men dominated. So that's where probably your little 5% comes from. But as far as like working, the nurses and the techs and everybody else that work in healthcare, most of them are women. And when you do work in that type of environment, you see the competition that women have with each other. I don't see that much of, every now and then you'll see it, but you rarely, it's not as prevalent with men in the healthcare where they're competing with each other, stabbing each other in the back, calling each other's name in the front. They're friendly with each other. These women are friendly. We, down in surgery, you can be right here, in the outer banks of the surgery, the surgery suites, and then they're just, blah blah blah. It can be a group of them, whatever, and they're talking about some other ones back there. But as soon as they get from in front of here and they're back there and they go into the sterile core, you know what I'm saying? Then they're dogging these ones that's out here. They're the ones who are running to HR, making up lies on other women to get them in trouble or to get them fired, and stuff, like that. They're the ones doing this. I don't see that much out of men in corporate, the workspace. And I know it's out there. I don't see it as it is with women doing that type of stuff. So sometimes, they can be their worst enemies, but then some of those issues and problems that they're having, they're blaming it on men, heterosexual men, and they're blaming it on gay men and trans for some of these insecurities and stuff that they have. And so anyway, I want to talk about this Kevin Samuels, this Kevin Samuels thing too. So I watched quite a few. I went and watched quite a few of his videos. I don't agree with most stuff that he say, because most stuff he says, it's derogatory. There's some stuff that I did agree with, but his presentation, the way he talked to women, this hatefulness, this misogynistic viewpoint that he has, or whatever. The way he would get on here and he would say stuff. My issue is really not so much with him. It's like, why were women calling into his show when they know he was going to berate them? You know what I'm saying? When he know he was going to talk about their age. At first women were coming on with their makeup, eyelashes, lipstick, and hair, weaves or whatever, or wigs, whatever they were. They were coming on. And then he started making the comments like, what, you don't look like that under that makeup, or come on here without that makeup on and let's really see what you look like. You're average at best. Without that makeup, you're not pretty, and stuff like that. So then women went and changed, the ones that was coming on there, they went and changed their whole persona. They changed, who they were or whatever to appease this man, because, and then they came on there to be insulted. And then they would get off of there and then they go insult other men as if we were this Kevin Samuels or we think like this Kevin Samuels. Why would a self-respecting woman get on his show when they know what this man is about? And there was men who watched him too. On most of his videos, he would get somewhere between 1.2 million to 2 to 3 million views on all of his videos. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of men, and that's a lot of women watching. But most of the people who actually came onto his show and paid this man for him to give them advice, and he's not a therapist, he's not a marriage counselor, he's none of those things. He didn't have a degree in that. You know what I'm saying? He had a degree, but it wasn't in that. He even admits that on his thing. Why would any self-respecting woman go on his show to be abused? And then you get off of there and then you talk about the man real bad, but you went on there and put yourself in that position to get talked to like that and to be demeaned. And some of you paid to be on his show.
Right. I think some of them thought it was going to be a different outcome at times. I mean, his whole basis to me was to bring self-improvement for women. I guess he thought that he knew how men think, how men think or whatever, and he thought that maybe he could help women out in relationships. So it was based on that. So then when I call in and you start attacking me or whatever, then it becomes like this sensationalism, or you're trying to gain attention and you're trying to gain followers or whatever. But I think some of them also, when they found out the vitriol that he was putting out, that they then decided to go on there and say, we're going to defend ourselves. So some of them went on to defend themselves or to even challenge, what he was saying or whatever. But I think he would also get people that were vulnerable, that were hurt, that, didn't have, they were insecure or whatever. And so the things that he would say, some of them, it was what, to them, it was what they needed to hear. I hate that because that to me, that means that you're so broken that you will allow someone to speak, all this hurtful stuff to you. And to me, it will break me even more. But some people, just like people in church, they'll go to hear all this stuff. They feel like they need to hear all this stuff. Oh, how bad I am, because that's going to make them strive to be better the next, Monday morning or whatever. I don't need you to tell me how bad I am. If I'm going to pay you, or if I'm going to, submit to your advice or knowledge or whatever, I want you to not only point out some things I can change, but I want you to give me steps to better myself. I don't want you to just continue to turn me down or whatever. So I think that was part of his crowd that took some of the stuff he was saying, and you know, and maybe it was like a wake up call or self reflection, but some of them were really hurt. And what I saw was very hurtful. So I don't see how anybody, but I know there are women that are broken down that, you know, they did see something in his teachings or whatever he was doing, you know, rest his soul or whatever. But yeah, I don't think his platform was a healthy platform for anybody, not the way he did, you know, because he would just talk so vicious about them. So yeah, I don't think it was a healthy platform for anyone.
And I've watched some other black men podcasts where they're just going in on women.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And women they're calling in, you know, and then some of these women, they don't see them. Some of them don't even see themselves as insecure or broken, as you say, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but they're calling in asking, well, what about me? And I look like this and whatever. You know, and then they break them down. I was, I was watching another show where, you know, this woman, you know, her name was Kendra, and then she, you know, women are coming in, you know, I guess looking for, you know, what is this high value? You know, I'm looking for this high value man, and he has to make 6 figures, you know, or whatever. Be what you're looking for.
Right.
Okay. In this day in society, in this day, you know, in this world now, it takes, for most people, it takes 2 incomes, even for those people who y'all see living success, which you think is living successfully in these suburbs or these big mansions, you know, and stuff, you know, whatever. It usually takes 2 incomes to support a household and a family these days. Things have changed. Women have to accept that. Men have to accept that, you know, whatever. If you want that type of lifestyle like that, you know, whatever, it's going to take both of y'all to pull in that income. Not all the time, but 99% of the time, you know, y'all, these women who are going out there saying, I want this man to make 6 figures or whatever, you know, most of the time, those type of men like that, and it depends on the 6 figures they're making. If you're just making low 6 figures or whatever and stuff, if that's what you're talking about, you still gonna have to work. Yeah. Okay. And just because a man is making 6 figures or more or making millions, that does not make a man okay high value. Because there's a lot of people with money. You know, I see it all the time. I go to these fundraisers. I have friends with a lot of money. I have friends that are millionaires and stuff, you know, like that. You know, these men, you know, they may have that type of money, but it's almost like what Kevin Samuel said, okay? They're not looking for you. What they're looking for you for, okay? Now, it ain't always, you know, because those men do marry women who, you know, especially, you know, surgeons and them. I've seen so many of them marry the nurses. The nurses, they're not making, the nurses aren't making 100 and something thousand K. You know, they might be in the 70s and 80s or 90s, but they're not hitting that. You know, they're not hitting that 100,000 K unless they have other stuff going on. But those surgeons, you know, with their millions, they do go after those nurses, you know, and some of them have left their wives. You know what I'm saying? And they're messing with those nurses. You know, some of them don't leave their wives, but they're taking care of those women on the side. That does not make a high value man.
Right.
Okay. Just because you have money, you know, women, and you think that you're going to get a man who's making 6 figures or something, and that you're going to get a value man or a good man, if you luck out, you will. Most of the time, those men they're cheating. You get behind their closed doors and stuff, them big old nice houses in the suburbs, you know, and stuff, you know, like that. Hell, my neighborhood is that. Okay. You go back here and you go into these houses and stuff, you know, these men, they're beating their wives, they're cheating their wives. The women are drinking themselves to death, you know, or whatever. Some of them are stay-at-home moms, you know, or whatever. Some of them work, you know, or whatever. But those men are not high value. Right. Okay. Some of those women actually are high value. But the men, just because they have money, that doesn't make them high value, because they got a whole bunch of dirtiness going on in the background. You know, so these black women who are fooling themselves saying, I want a high value man, you know, well then you don't have to listen to Kevin Samuels, because you can get a high value man. Don't lower your standards just because of something that this man is saying that you can't get, because it happens all the time. I've seen it, over my 40-year career in medical. I've seen it, and just also, with friends, I have friends with a lot of money and stuff. I've been to these fundraisers, I've been to these things and stuff, like that. And whatever they put down, you know what I'm saying? It ain't always what these black women think if they get these men. You can look at these musicians and basketball stars and and football players and stuff, like that. Just because they're making that type of money now, that doesn't put them in the high value. That's a high value man. They're just making money. Their character is not high value, because if you watch these reality shows, which I don't, but I hear about them and stuff, like that. You can see it in some of these blogs and the news and stuff where these women get these men, and those high earning men are beating the crap out of these women, or they're cheating with them with multiple women and stuff. So be careful what you ask for. Just because a man is making 40, 50, 60, 70,000 a year or something like that, that can be a good man. That can be an honorable man. That might be a man, not saying he won't cheat or do the same stuff, but that can be the man that that's going to actually be right for you and you right for him, that's not doing all that cheating or abuse and stuff, like that. But you'll overlook that, because you want this money, and I'll say it again, money does not make you happy. And a lot of people don't believe that who don't earn that type of money. But millionaires and people with money, they'll tell you that, money does not make you happy. It can afford stuff. You don't have to worry about bills. You can take luxury trips. You can buy things and stuff, like that, but that's not going to bring you happiness. And if money is bringing you happiness, then that's a false happiness, because somewhere down the line, that's going to fail you, because eventually you're going to want real happiness, and you're not going to get it, whatever, because you put so much stock into, I need this, this, so I can live this type of lifestyle. Right. Everybody that's in those lifestyles is not living a glamorous, they might be glamorous on the outside, but they're sad and unhappy, and miserable on the inside. Okay. But then Slick here, she says, another thing is some women use homophobia and transphobia as a stick to control cishet black men. Yeah, I think that's, because we were talking about that earlier, so if men ain't afraid of being called gay or called trans, then they ain't going to, she got
bend over backwards for trans women.
Then they ain't going to bend over backwards for toxic women. Toxic. So yeah, and that's part of it too. There's all these different type of reasons of why, these black women have animosity towards black men. Black or black gay men. And we're your friends in some of these. In some of these channels, these YouTube channels or whatever. Hi so and so and so and so. There's plenty of them that come on there that support us, and they're not making those type of comments, right? Mm-hmm. But there's so many more that are in there making those type of comments, and they'll come in and be like they're those guests. Like they're those channels, those content creators' friend, and they're grinning and smiling and stuff. But in the comments, they're making comments about. You take Claudia's comments, ain't no man with no dress and wig and mustache gonna tell me how to be feminine, and that's for any of y'all out there, right? Okay, well, she's saying that about some of the ones who she says she's friends with, How can she be Funky's friend, or, how can she be Conscious's friend? How can she be, because all of them have put on dresses and have had makeup and mustache and stuff, like that. But how can she say she's their friend? Or maybe you can. Whatever, you're not to me, you're not a great friend, or you're not a good friend. You might be just a casual friend or something. But how can she make those comments, and say she's not transphobic or homophobic, and she's making those type of comments, and then, but then she, at the same breath, she's saying that they were friends, like she said about Funky, and he was my friend, and we would, so and so. If he's your friend, you're not making those type of comments about.
And it's also the context that it's in, because what she said, nothing really was wrong with what she said. It's that the context that it was in, you were shooting out all the disdain or whatever, because you are right. I mean, I guess that no guy is going to teach you how to. Because I can't teach you how to be a woman. But why are you even saying that? You're saying that because of ABC or whatever, which makes the whole thing look bad. But if that was just the only statement that you made, then okay, that's true. I can't help you. I could probably, but they probably can give you pointers, girl. Why you tripping?
I mean, some women go to gay men to help them, to help them look more glamorous, or to, some women do that, where they, because some women haven't helped other women, or whatever. And then sometimes it's the gay man that may go and make, make them up, but to me, I don't think most that there are men out there, who want to be, who want to be them or want to be women and stuff, and that's fine. Want to be women and stuff, that's fine. That could be your trans or or anything. You know what I'm saying? But most gay men do not want to be women at all. I don't even think it crosses their mind to be women, or want to wear women's clothing or anything and stuff. But fashion, glam, and all that stuff, it's just not relegated to women.
Right.
They don't own it. As much as Claudia and them would like to think that.
Right.
But then then I got here this I got a question. Is Kevin Samuels a misogynist and contributes to the animosity Black women have towards het men, gay men? Because he makes this whole he makes this whole thing about alpha men, alpha men and beta men. He says this whole stuff about that, and I guess women don't really want beta men, because I guess we're softer, when they'll settle for us, but that's not what they really want. They really want these alpha men, but these alpha men that they want have to be making this this six figure. A lot of times those ones who are alpha, who are beta, those are the ones who are making the 6 figures or more.
Exactly.
And they're not into that whole, I gotta be toxic masculine and be like this, whatever. So, but I just, I threw that in there, like, it's Kevin Samuels. To me, he is a misogynist.
Yeah, he's definitely pro male and pro whatever, the woman is beneath me and all that. Just the way he would talk to them. I mean, even the video we played before, it was like, oh, you're fat, and you're this and you're that. It's like, why do you marry the first person that got you pregnant? He just really talks back to them. So yeah, I think he thinks that that the man is like the head, and he just can control everything, and the woman is beneath me and all this kind of stuff, and the woman needs to earn me. Yeah, he rest his soul. But yeah, I don't see how any, like, if I had a daughter, I would not want her to watch his shit, to watch his show. It's like, no, you are better than that to even listen to that or whatever. And that's why I say I think a lot of people initially was drawn to this show because it was built on like a self-improvement. Like, I have answers. Can you answer them? Like, I want to know why I'm not getting this, or why I'm not receiving this, or why when I do this, this happens. I think they were looking for answers. And I think he came on with, with this persona that he could answer. Like, he was the wizard, whatever. You could bring your questions and he could answer whatever. But then when he got into, the dialogue with like trying to help them, it just got insulting and like demeaning and hurtful. And I think some of the women, some women saw that. And so they came on, they were like, no, Negro. This, and so some of them would just come on his show
just to rebuttal with him to say, no, nigga, no, or whatever. It's not, we not like that, blah, blah, blah. But then some of them, because they have been so hurt or they want these answers that they think only this man can answer, kept his platform, thriving or whatever, because they felt like it was something in them that was missing, or some mistake, something they weren't doing right or whatever. So it really just kept his platform alive. But thank God for the women that saw through the bullshit or whatever. But I hope that the women that did not, hopefully they have healed or they are healing, because I think some of them came there broken and left there even broker, if that's a word, because he just really just pounded against their esteem or whatever. And I hate that. I hate for any woman that really just followed him and took a hold to all he was saying. Now, there may have been some, little small truths here and there or whatever, because we all can approve, but not to where I'm less than and I'm not enough or whatever. So yeah, I don't like the way his platform was built on. He could have just kept it at the self-improvement and kept it positive, more uplifting, more empowering than the way he kind of like just beat them down to me,
Yeah. To me, he was a con job from the beginning. It was a con job, and that many people, that was calling in and actually paying him to be on his show for those many years, where he's giving them advice, but tearing them down mostly, but giving, telling them, that you're average at best and you're fat, and you're ugly up under that makeup, and you ain't got no hair up under that wig or weaves and stuff, like that. To me, that was a con job. And the women who were calling in, to his show, whether some of them might have been trolling, but probably the women who did get on there, they didn't actually call in or whether they just kind of watched the show. They probably watched an episode or two, never watched it again, because they knew this man was a fake.
Right.
They knew this man was a con.
Right.
They knew this man was a misogynist.
Right.
But there was quite a few of those women and some men, but quite a few of those women who bought into that stuff. And they're asking this man how to actually, how to improve themselves. So what Claudia was talking about, here's this so-called heterosexual man, which to me, he seemed DL.
Right.
He gave me DL, but, that's nothing I can prove or whatever. Allegedly, no, I'm kidding. But here's this supposedly heterosexual man telling women how to be women. He's telling them, these are women asking this man how to be a woman, or a female, how to be a better female or whatever, and then they were buying this stuff, and then they also would get on that show, and then they'll go on to another show or platform, and where they're on there with all women or something, and then they're bashing the men, bashing him for saying it or whatever, but your stupid ass went on there and see,
the thing about him is I guess he felt like he spoke for all men, and you don't. You're not a monolith. And the women, they wanted answers. Right. I think they honestly and very innocently wanted answers. And no, they did. That's why they were asking the questions. They wanted answers, but this one man cannot speak to all the men in the world and give you the roadmap to win this man's heart or whatever.
I don't think you want answers if you want to be, if you're going on, you're going to be insulted. He already showed you who he was, and he has insulted video after video after video after video. He has insulted those women, and women would still go on there. They had to see that, in order for them to go on there, they had to see this man insulting them. So I don't think they went on there for answers. I don't think they went on there, to want, be, whatever, for this man to give them answers. There was something else going on there. So why would a self-respecting woman, who has some dignity about herself, go onto this man's show who has shown 100% he's going to insult them, no matter what they look like,
Every woman,
no matter what they're built like, or whatever.
So every woman's not going on there with the same mindset. Some women are broken, so they want the answers, even though this man is putting out all this harsh delivery or whatever. They want answers, and if they feel like this man has it, they're gonna do it. It's crazy to me, but you have to put yourself in the position of someone that's broken. If you're broken, you'll take an answer from any idiot. And that's what they were doing. That's what people do it all the time. That's why people get cheated out of their money. That's why people get, they get these lemons and whatever, because you want this and you think this is the only way you can get it or whatever, and it's not. You have to think more of yourself, because if these women thought more highly of themselves, they wouldn't let this Negro talk to them like that. I'll get my answer somewhere else. But in his defense though, you do have all kind of different counselors. I don't think his counseling was the best, because you have, what's her name, Ivana or whatever, she counsels a certain way. You have the Dr. Fields, he counsels a certain way. But this type of counseling that I'm not gonna pay you or even sit on your couch or be on your platform for you to turn me down. Now that's, to me, I don't see, and like you say, he's not even a counselor. So he was in the wrong from the beginning, if that's the way he thought he was gonna get his message across or whatever. But some women are so broken and so in need of, like we're saying, where are all the men? Where are all the men? And I guess they thought he could answer. But my thing is, this one man cannot answer for all the men or whatever. He may point you to a man like him. Now, if that's the kind of man you want, then you just gonna get another Kevin Samuels or whatever. But all men don't think like him. But maybe there were some things that he said that they took or whatever, and could work. But in the big picture of it, he was really crushing spirits, and I hate that for any woman that was crushed by him. It's sad.
And a lot of those women, they listened to that man, where he was doing that alpha beta stuff, and equating gay men as being feminine and beta men, equating to that, and women would hear that, and then they would get on other platforms and be talking about gay men as being beta or feminine, and competing with them and stuff, like that. And so they want this. And a lot of those women were on there because what they was coming out their mouth and said they want a high value man. And most of them were saying they want a man who makes 100K. I mean, makes 6 figures, not 100K, but they make 6 figures and stuff, whatever. So their intentions and motives were wrong anyway, Right. Well, I mean, I can't tell them, I can, but that don't mean that's what they don't go off what the hell I say. But their intention, so they got what they asked for. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whether they're broken, or so and so or whatever, they got what they asked for.
Got the answer.
But then they would go on these type of shows, and having men tell them this type of whatever stuff, and then this shit gets into their heads, and then they come and then they believe, they get in and believe this whole masculine, strong, high value, whatever, and then they get put the gay men, as if we're weak or we want to be women, or we're devaluing them and taking stuff away from them and stuff, whatever. But anyway, so as far as this Claudia Jordan, because I actually had made a comment, way back a few years ago when TGIF was, started, and Claudia was going in on this whole trans stuff, and gay stuff about, gay men and then and just some of the comments and statements she made, and I was watching women protect her, not all, but women coming to her defense because she said, protect Black women, which I think she only said that because she needed something else to get the women off of her ass. Right. I mean, so now if she goes and starts attacking gays and trans, or whatever, then the women will come on her side, you know, whatever. And you know, and since there are a lot of women out there who feel like how Claudia, what she says, you know, what Claudia feels on this trans issue, on gay men issue, the whole gay religion thing. There's a lot of women, even though they watch a lot of gay content, you know, or even though TGIF wasn't specifically gay, you know, whatever.
Right.
They talk about different issues with gay stuff, just like they did it with hex stuff or whatever. So women, people were watching it for different reasons or whatever. But the women that would be in there, a lot of them, they liked when Claudia would start bashing gay men or making her comments or negative comments and statements stuff. And you can see Claudia's expression and stuff. She was eating that shit up, you know, and she'd be just sitting there with that, you know, whatever and stuff, you know. But back in 2009, you know, Claudia made that colorist remark, you know, which I called her a colorist, you know, and then, but I had actually sent Claudia, you know, I had made a comment and it was about long, you know, because, you know, I kind of go off on tangents and shit, you know, talk too much. But, you know, I had sent her this comment when she was going off on Funky and stuff about, when she was going off about trans this and gay men this and stuff, even before the Saucy Santana stuff. She actually replied back to me, you know, and she replied back with a whole thing too. And I actually sent it to her back then about the history of men and makeup and hair and let her know then that, you know, that, you know, femininity and hair, makeup, and all that stuff was not that was not a woman design or a female design. You know, actually, it was men who created that.
Right.
It was the men who created that. You know, the kings and leaders. They were the ones who were adorned like that and
show their status, their
power, and all that other stuff. You know, they sometimes women couldn't even make themselves up, you know, or whatever and stuff. So I sent that back to her then, you know, but she didn't respond back to that part. But she kind of wanted to light into me for what I said, you know, and stuff. And I lit right back into her, you know, and stuff, you know, like that. Because it's like, know your history and know your facts before you start spewing this stuff. But there's a lot of people who get on that Claudia bandwagon, you know, and believe this stuff that she's spitting out of her mouth. You know? But then I go back to here where, you know, she made in 2009, she made that remark about black black people at this party, right? And it was a black party where you're supposed to wear all black. And then and I told you about it and stuff, and then you actually went and found the video, you know, where she had said that. But she had made that comment about you know, we're saying, well, I don't know why, you know, basically I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but you know, why, you know, I don't know why they would have a black party where you have to wear all black and stuff with all these black people in here. You can't even see, you know, you can't even see them. Only thing you can see is their, you know, see the whites of their eyes and their white teeth or something, you know, like that. I can see the beige people. Then she started naming off, you know, different people who were, you know, like her skin tone or above. And then she named herself, you know, or me, you know, or whatever. But then she put, you know, the rest of us, she put us in this, you know what I'm saying? That was a colorist remark. And then she tried to say that she was not a colorist. You know, she always plays the victim. You know, Claudia has been in a lot of shit from the time she's been, you know, on her Deal or No Deal game show. You know what I'm saying? She's been in a lot of stuff. She's been fired from a lot of places because she's always in mess. She keeps up mess, you know, and then she starts mess. And then she goes in the background and then she gets women on her side so they can talk mess about gay people or men, you know, or whatever. She'll get them on her side, you know, with that type of stuff, you know, and then it builds her up and then she starts going in, okay? But then she plays the victim when people come back for her ass, you know, and when the gays and the trans light her ass up, you know, then she wants to cry. She wants to get on the other channels and pretend like, you know, she's supportive and she's not this and she doesn't know why people talk about her and stuff, you know, when initially she's the one who's starting this, mess, you know, with this whole TGI thing and stuff, you know, like that. Claudia was the one who started that mess with Armand because she had been on his channel and she didn't like some of the stuff that he said about black women or, you know, or about anything, you know, on his, you know, on his show or whatever. So when he got hired, she didn't like it that he actually got hired. So in the background, she was the one who was trying to get him fired. That's, you know, it started off that way, you know. So initially, she was the messy one. She was the backstabber, you know. And then she played that whole Karen, you know, that white Karen Becky thing, you know. Like I feel like what white women do to black men, where black men have been shot, beaten, killed, or arrested and stuff.
Right.
And women, black women have been, harmed and stuff too because of that Karen Becky stuff,
Mhm.
and then Claudia goes in and plays that Becky, that Becky thing when Armand got hired, and she
Right.
knew what she was doing,
Mhm.
okay, and it was intentional,
Mhm.
and she said, I feel unsafe, I don't feel like that I can feel safe working around him. He hadn't done anything to Claudia, except probably read her ass on his show or something,
Right.
on his own platform,
Right.
that she didn't like. Then she goes and uses that whole, I feel unsafe. Now this is a black man. You're working for this white network, and stuff, like that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And she used that whole thing. And then when they came after her ass, on Real Housewives about that color stuff, she played the victim.
Right.
And then she did the same thing here with Armand. Then she goes behind, and then when Al wanted to get her off the show, whatever. And him and Armand were working behind the scenes. Well, heck, you started it.
You started it.
And then you want to go play the victim. And then these women jump on Claudia's side because Claudia says protect black women. And that's where our show is kind of stemming from, because on Conscious's show, he brought up this woman. She was a nurse or whatever, and she came on into his live, right? He sent her the link, and she came into the live, and he asked the question. So, he wanted to know, everybody out there, why do y'all think TGI was canceled? And why do y'all think? Why do you think TGI was canceled? And then he had mentioned Claudia. And why was there so much disdain for Claudia? Or whatever. And the first thing that came out of that nurse's mouth, and I forgot her name, so I'm just gonna say nurse.
Mhm.
The first thing that came out of her mouth was because she's a black woman. And I put in the comments again, what does her being a black woman have to do with her being fired?
Right.
It had nothing to do with her being fired. You know what I'm saying? But then the comments started coming where, and the thing about, it was because she was a black woman, and now you got these two black gay men, one's bi and one's gay or whatever, they're attacking her. They're coming for her because she's a black woman. It's the most ridiculous bullshit,
And I wonder, when did they attack her? Like, what were they saying? Because I don't watch it. So what did this attack come from?
They were attacking her because she initially wanted to get Armand off the show, and she didn't like him, and she felt threatened.
Oh, this is behind the scenes.
And
stuff.
behind the
So
scenes.
how do they know that though?
Well, there was a video. Conscious released a video. I think I can't be for sure, but I think Claudia probably sent it to him, being messy, so she can get people on her side. It was a Zoom call, and she took, because when you're on Zoom, it's recorded, and you can always go back, especially if they're recording it. Most people record Zoom calls,
right.
And you can always go back and pull your transcripts out and pull out this, especially Jobs use it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then here's the thing with Claudia. She's always suing people. She's always recording people. You know what I'm saying? She's always taking snapshots of their screenshots of their phones and text messages and stuff like that. So for women to say that Claudia's not messy,
so she's a self-made victim. She
Right.
always gonna be a victim.
she's always going to be the victim.
Because if you have to record and tape and do all this, screenshots or whatever, you always see yourself as the victim. Everyone is after you.
That's a good point.
I mean, because why would you do that?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Why would you do that? So you
I didn't even
always
think about it that
you
way.
always see yourself as a victim.
She's always seeing herself as a victim,
Mhm.
and everybody coming for her when
Yeah.
she initiates it.
And to me, that protect black women. I mean, I get it in a sense, but then in a way, I don't, because for me, I didn't really hear and maybe I'm just naive. I didn't really hear the protect black women until like the Breonna Taylor, and it was more about the policemen are coming in, they're shooting us, they're killing us for no reason. Protect us. I know. You could put in there, the racism and all this stuff, or the injustices or whatever. Yeah, but where in all this situation, was your life in danger? Where was these punks? Where anywhere in this situation were they gonna kill you or attack you or cut you or shank you or drag you? Or I mean, where was it where you felt like your life was in danger by these two men that you need to call the forces in or whatever to protect your womanhood or whatever? So I think that was wrong for her to even bring up that whole saying or whatever it is, protect. 'Cause to me, it's not even about that. But if you do feel like you needed to say that, what was the danger? What was the danger? Because if you're doing what you need to do at work, no one can get you fired. Like I said, it took all of them to get it was a collective to get y'all thrown off the thing.
So, I first started hearing the protect Black women thing. And I kind of know where it comes from because I was actually out there protesting with the Black women, for this, whatever. So, and you're kind of right, sort of around where the Black Lives Matter started, and then with the Breonna Taylor, because first Black women were going out on the front lines, and it's true, when these Black men were being killed by the police or being killed, for stepping on somebody's prop, just all type of stuff. These Black women came out in droves, you know what I'm saying, to protest, and they would, support legislation and call their congressmen and senators, and they would do all of that type of stuff, which is commendable, But then also these same black men that they were going out protecting, protesting for and doing this stuff for, it was like these Black men ain't out here protecting us. They're beating us, or they're using us, they're cheating on us. It's a lot of stuff, whatever. They're not properly taking care of us. A lot of that was coming. And then with the Breonna Taylor, and then even before her, when, another Black woman had been, killed, at the hands of the police and stuff, like that. There was a lot of women who went out and protested, but not the men didn't come out and protest in the droves that some of the, that the women would come out and protest for them. Now the gays was out there, the gays was out there protesting with the women, and so a lot of the men you saw were the the Black gays or whatever. And there were Black men out there, but not in the way that Black women would go out and support these Black men with these protests and with legislation and stuff to protect them. And so it kind of started surfing and then, but then it became, a weapon because, there's actually, Congress actually enacted a law, they got to, put it, and they have a law on the books to protect Black women, and, for that. So there is a reason, for that. But the way women are using it now, that's not the context the way it should be used. Right. They're using it to down the Black straight men, they use it to down gay men, to talk, to say disparaging things about Black men and stuff. That's not really what it was meant to be. But they've all jumped on this Claudia bandwagon. There's other women out there who are, who do this and stuff too, and these women have jumped on that bandwagon, and then they just say protect Black women, or it's Black men's fault, or it's the gays and the trans fault, or something, like that. That there ain't enough Black men out there for us, or men ain't treating us right, or something, stuff like that. So now it's not what it really was intended to be, now it's
everybody's out to get them.
Yeah, now it's the victimization thing of it or whatever, like you're being victimized and stuff. And that's the part that I don't like about it. I'm with them when it was, protect these women from this abuse, from whatever. But a lot of those same women who are saying protect Black women, they're doing, some of the same ones are doing the disparaging, hurtful stuff to each other and to us, whatever. And I'm under the thing like, well, we come out and we do protest, and we're out there with y'all. We're standing up for y'all. And when these black men and stuff are beating y'all or doing stuff, like that, we intervene, or whatever, or we're there on your side. That's false. What Claudia said, like, we black women are there for you. Our true black women friends are, but most of those ones that be in these comments and stuff, a lot of them, they're really not for us. And the protests that I've been in, I haven't seen them out there. Just I might have seen a handful, but I haven't seen the straight black women out there fighting for our gay, trans, queer rights legislations, the right to be a human being, to have equality, the same as you do. And they see themselves, some women, they see themselves as these victims and that they're the low end of the totem pole. But really, you're not at the low end of the totem pole because you have privilege, because you are a heterosexual person. Okay, so you're gonna have the privilege over gays and trans. Okay, so you do have that privilege. Even if these men are treating you this way, or so and so, they still value you and see you above what they see a gay man, a queer man, a queer person, or a trans. Right. So you got to know your history and know your facts on that too, or whatever. So, but yeah, I put her in I put her in that Karen Becky, and not because she's half white and half Italian and half black, or whatever. That she has the Becky mentality, and she knew how to use that to try to get what she wanted, to get him fired off the show. So she's the one who initiated it. And then when they came for her, then it was a different story. Then she was the victim. And now it's, look what they're doing to me, the black woman. And they're coming for me because I'm a black woman. And I'm the only black woman on the show. And I'm the one who got them on the show. So I can't be trans or homophobic because I'm the one who suggested them for the show. Well, you might have suggested them for the show, but it was not your last call for them to be on the show because you don't own the show.
So I guarantee you, wherever her next step is and her next move, whatever she goes on to do next, it's going to be the same story because she has shown herself to, throw the rock and hide her hands. And when they investigate or whatever, and we get down to the root of it, it's really you, but you want to say you're the victim, but you initiated all this. Right. So it's the same story, just a different, what they say, same different script, but same, but different character, whatever it is. She's playing the same thing over and over. Right now, it was Housewives. And then it was TGIF or whatever. It's just gonna be the same story. Her story is not changing, and people should see that. But whoever hires her next, they should already know. Okay, bitch, don't come here with all that. Because we already know what hand you about to play.
Right, and then she gets a lot of jobs, or whatever, because the ones that like messy shit,
right?
They're gonna hire you on Housewives. They're going to do stuff, all of that basketball, all that. You have to be messy to be on there. You cannot be
right.
You cannot be. I don't care what
you have to be messy.
You gotta be messy, and you gotta, I don't even know if that makes them high quality. What is it? A high value woman because they're on there backstabbing each other, calling each other names. I mean, I guess you could be high value or whatever.
I don't know. What you're doing is you're still working. You're working for the man, and you're being a fool for the man. Mm-hmm. Especially when you, like Bravo. I mean, I can see now if you want to go over there to Zeus and do that, then that's fine because Zeus is supposed to be black owned or whatever. I mean, but it's still, to me, it's still stupid for you to go over there and act a fool, and even though your master is a black man, but you go to Bravo and your master is a white man, they paying you to act a fool. They paying you to be messy. They paying you to backbite. They paying you to dig up stuff on people. They paying you to be messy. They paying you to be shady. And if that's the game you want to play, then keep on playing the game. But when they come back at you and they read you for fifth, and whatever, protect black women, and I'm the big no, bitch, you started it. So you get what you put out.
So, like I said, I think her game is not changing. It's gonna be she's just gonna take the same game to a different arena, but it's still the same game. And hopefully, people, the people that the viewers, hopefully they see it, because the people that are giving her the jobs, they don't care, because she's bringing in the money, she's bringing in the viewership, she's bringing in the viewers, and so you keeping us high on the rating. So I don't care. But as far as us as viewers, we should be, we should see her for who she is by now.
Yeah.
It's the same story.
Yeah. So, and so to protect Black women, and I have in here, I said, are Black women on the front line fighting for Black, queer, trans rights and freedoms as we are for them? Are they protesting with us or against us? Who protects the queers and trans? And then I have down here, domestic violence against women, queers, and trans. I say stop killing us physically and emotionally, because Black women may not be physically harming us, but their emotion, they can be emotionally harming us with their rhetoric, and whatever. And we're all in the same fight. We're fighting for the same things, whatever. But we're all dealing with the same type of stuff, and it's not all Black men,
right?
And it's not all Black women. There's some Black women who like I said, I have some friends that are like that, but my dearest friends are not like that. My friend Deborah and her sister, you're not hearing them saying this type of stuff and doing that type of stuff. We've been friends for over 30 years, and they're not in there with all that, protect Black women. So they're strong Black women. They're not insecure. You've met them too. They're not insecure about any of that type of stuff. And they'll tell you like the TIS is, whether you gay, straight, a Black woman, a Black man, or whatever. Those are very secure women. And they're not out there making those type of disparaging remarks and stuff, like that, and voting against us with legislation, and saying one thing here and doing another thing, or whatever. And then and Black women, they can't come for me and say I'm against Black women, or I don't like Black women, because there ain't one Black woman or white woman or Asian woman or whatever woman that I know, and I know a whole lot, they can tell you that I'm misogynistic, or I don't like Black women, whatever, or anything like that. And that I don't protect them, or whatever, because I do. I stand up for Black women with my protesting and my legislation, trying to help get legislation and stuff passed for them, whatever, writing into my congressmen and senators and stuff, for to protect Black women. So
I think most people are like that. I think anytime it's Black women or Black men, I think you're gonna find some support from most people. I think it's when it's something that deals with quote unquote a lifestyle, or something that they deem to not be moral or whatever, or the way they choose to live. That's where they have a problem. I can't support that, or whatever. I think that's when we don't really see the support. Because I mean, like I said, there's different ways to support as well. I might not be at the protest, but when I go in that little ballot box, I'm gonna vote for my Black woman, because I see the Black woman as my mother, my grandmother, my sister, my girlfriend. I'm gonna vote for the Black man because I see the Black man as my dad, my granddaddy, my uncle, my cousin or whatever. I'm gonna do that. But when I go in that box and you want to get me to vote on should these group of people get married, should this group of people, have benefits or whatever, medical benefits and all that, I don't know now. So I don't really think that they're being truthful when they say that they are supportive when you don't show up for anything. You don't show up for the protest. You don't show up for when it's time to vote or anything. Yeah, you want to be our friends or whatever, and you want us to, kiki with you, and you want to take, the slang or whatever, the way we talk and whatever. But you don't value our lives.
Right.
You don't see us.
Our humanity.
Yeah, you don't see us at all. And I think that's where people have to start. So what if you had a gay son? What if you had a gay daughter? That could actually happen.
Sometimes they're against them.
You're right, exactly. And that's so
sometimes they come around and then they learn, whatever, and then they will come out and protest or vote for your rights to be a human.
Yeah.
They have the same rights as everybody, whatever. But a lot of times that, a lot of times that religion plays into it too, or whatever, where they just, they're with us on the surface right here, but then once they get right here in the background, and we know because sometimes, they put out those statistics and the demographics and stuff of who voted this way and or which, if you actually want to look at that type of stuff, it'll show which stuff passed and what the margin it passed by and stuff. And there's a lot of times there's a lot of legislations that's supported for queers and trans and stuff, like that. And then not enough black women, because black women are the largest voting bloc as for black people, and for the Democratic Party too. But a lot of times, they'll vote for this, and but when it comes to our issues and us being, having, humanity, whatever in the background, then they go and vote against us, or they don't vote for that, for this, that, or the other, even though we're voting to support their, stuff for them, but then they'll go and not support us at all. And then the numbers will show, because sometimes that law, what they're trying to get, what they're trying to, I can't think of the word, but what they're trying to get, what we're trying to get through or pass, it won't pass. Sometimes it fails by a small margin, or whatever, because we didn't get enough of the black women or black men. A lot of times they just not coming out voting for us anyway.
Right.
But then, sometimes we do have in our mind that the women are supporting us, that the women are with us. And then we get, then we start seeing that they're not, and that a lot of them aren't. So, and then I was like, do black women have heteronormative alpha versus beta views when it comes to gay, male, trans? I do think that they have that heteronormative where they think like these black men, that hard, you gotta, if the man ain't toxic, hard and strong and showing this type of masculinity, then, they're not as valued, or whatever, or they're on the fence, or whatever. And I think, I do think that a lot of black women fall into that category, that whole, they buy into that whole masculine thing, and then which can leave a lot of them single. What I'm saying? Because there's a lot of men out there who are not hardcore masculine, and they're heterosexual, and they could be right for some of these women or whatever, and then they're making some of the figures that you want or something, but they show their femininity or something, their feminism, and then these women, they don't want them, or whatever, and then they do. Some of them will go for those men that are beating their ass and treating them a certain way. But then some of the women are like that themselves. They're not all cookies and cream.
Right.
So yeah. And then I just threw this in here. Our love language is the new trap, because I'll hear, like, when I'm in the comments and stuff, I don't hear a lot of heterosexual men talking about love languages, but I do hear a lot of women, I hear a lot of, since we're talking about black people, I would say black women and black gay men, because those are most of the spaces where I'm on their channels and stuff. But then, with these love languages, where it's like, if they meet a person, and if that person doesn't meet up to their love languages, then they don't want to date them or go out with them and stuff, like that. Or they do, if they do go out with them, they want them to adhere to their love languages, and then it starts causing confusion and conflicts and stuff, because now we're into this love language stuff, And like some of the women was like, well, my love language is gifts and stuff, and they like to have gifts. And that's why some of them are saying, I want a man who, and I hear these gays, the gay guys are saying some of, they're saying the same stuff too. I want a man who's on my level, and they got to make this and they got to make that or whatever. And then the women, they're saying some of the same stuff. Well, my love language is gifts, and I like to be this, and then whatever. I'm not into the love languages, but I have met some guys and they talk about their love languages, and then even with me, it's like when I'm not doing that or whatever, they get mad at me sometimes, and it's like I'm not even remembering.
I didn't even know love languages was used like that. I always thought that love language is so you can just understand the person. I don't require you to be a certain love language. I just want to know what your love language is, so I can better, love you in the way that you receive it or whatever. But then there's the middle ground to where you have to not always expect or get mad if you don't always get that, because then you just become a little brat. That's what little children do or whatever. But for the most part, I'm gonna try my best to deliver the love language or whatever that you are. But I never use the love language to be like, okay, you have to be this for me to date you or be with you. I just want to know who you are. I mean, I want to know how I can love you. That's how I use it. So that's a new one for me.
Yeah, and where I was getting that from, I had to go watch all this stuff. Because a lot of them I don't even watch. I don't even watch the stuff. But since we were doing this topic, I had to go. The last 2 weeks, I just had to go in and just watch some of this stuff, and I was like, some of it, it's just ridiculous to me, or whatever. And just some of the stuff that the women and the men, because some of those men were just dogging those women out, to their face. And some of the women were dogging them out for, whatever. But then they were in there talking about their love languages and stuff. And that, and they would ask, well, why are you two not together? And then and like this one lady was like, well, because one of my love languages is this, and then he rarely could hold up to whatever. And then and I guess there was other reasons, but that's what she used as one of them. And then the guy, they called her like a gold digger, whatever.
Right.
And
especially if it's gifts and you mad at them.
And just like that type of stuff. So I kind of just threw that in there as like, oh no, you didn't.
Right.
Whatever. But then sometimes it's like some of these women have these unrealistic expectations, of what it is to be, to have a, about men, I guess, or what it is to be what they consider what a real man is, quote unquote.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
And the women have those type of views of, this alpha beta type thing, whatever. And they leave out a lot of good quality men because they're focused on this high value. And a lot of things, I guess a high value man, I guess they think a high value man is 100% masculine and has money or whatever and stuff, like that. But there's a lot of these white women, there's a lot of them out there that's married, to that white man, who and that man, he's has masculine and feminine qualities. Those women ain't even worried about it. But here we are, black with our black women and stuff, and they're worried about this whole masculine thing,
right?
Or whatever. And these white women ain't even worried about that shit. They worried about security and whatever, and living this whatever lifestyle or whatever. But here we're living it ourselves because the man ain't masculine enough, or he ain't toxic masculine or whatever, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're gonna have to work through that, because I see a lot of because I come from the church background, and I see a lot of women with, to me, feminine men, and I don't know if they get a pass because in church you can be a little bit more flamboyant or whatever, because you have the men there, we're shouting and dancing just like everybody else. You're raising your hands and you're crying and you're being, I don't know, you're just being very you're not afraid to show your emotions. Most men, if they're gonna cry anywhere, they're gonna cry in church, or they're gonna they're gonna be more vulnerable in that type of environment. And I see a lot of men, and now that we're in this Hollywood kind of church, you see the men with the man have more makeup than his wife. And the eyebrows are done, and they doing all the little lips and the hands, and I'm like, okay.
Well, did you see Kevin Samuel with his hair that was what was it, processed?
Yeah.
And in one of his videos, I looked and this was laid down straight. Then he had little flip curls that like just a little roll right there, and then he had that little eyeliner stuff under there, whatever, and then he had a little shade of makeup to, because I guess he was on camera, and then he was so well dressed.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I guess he was metrosexual.
Yeah,
but then he's putting beta males down. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You kind of were a beta male.
Right. Hypocrite.
DL or whatever you were. Right. That ain't nothing I can prove, but.
Yeah, just because a man is a little bit softer or whatever doesn't mean he's not the right man for you. So yeah, if you're just looking for that, and I mean, to each his own. If that's the type of man you want, I mean, find it, but don't always like neglect the men that don't show up in that scale that you're looking for, because that may be the perfect man for you or whatever. And you never know. I don't know. That man, that could just be a season easy, and he may change. But my thing, I want to go in thinking you're going to change anybody, because I mean, whoever he is, that's who he's going to be or whatever. But at the same time, that does not neglect. That doesn't take away from him being a provider, him being a protector for you, him being a good partner for you. I mean, a perfect match for you or whatever. Because I mean, a lot of people will pass up great people for what they see, on the outside, and not taking in those true qualities. This man ain't gonna beat me. This man ain't gonna, call me all bitches and hoes. Because that's one thing I hate. One of my pet peeves is I hate for someone to claim that they love me, but as soon as they get mad at me, I'm all kinds of bitches and girls and hoes. That's fighting words to me. I'm like, I don't see that. Now, I mean, we just playing, but I just don't understand how I can become all this, but you say you love me and I'm the man for you and blah, 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 whatever. So yeah, don't always, just turn your back away from men that might not come in the package that you are wanting or whatever, because that may just be the right man for you or whatever. I mean, just look at you. Some of the women, you might not be the package, but this man sees something in you. There's something in that man that you could, love and like or whatever. So I mean, yeah, I wouldn't turn someone away just because of their looks. But we know what we like or whatever. But yeah.
And so one of the not one, but some of the reasons that some of the women were given in some of the channels that I had watched was it was like because gay men, like not they think whatever with a man is feminine or whatever, then they can they know that's a gay man. But if they have issues with the with a bisexual man or a DL man or the masculine gay men that quote they think nobody can tell that they're really gay, they have issues with that because they might they end up like they might go for whatever, then they turn out to be gay or whatever or the DL and stuff like that. and it's sort of almost like it's a deceiving thing, like and like with trans, not telling people that they're trans right off the bat, and then so a lot of the women felt like, not a lot, but there was a whole bunch of women in there, and one of the things I was in saying that that gay people should tell when they're they should tell like basically tell everybody that they're a gay male. They don't say nothing about the women, but they talk about the men should have to say that they're gay when they meet, when they're like they should know when they meet people, even as friends, they should know, that way that they don't go for that, put themselves out there like that and then get embarrassed or go after that gay, go after that man when they're gay and stuff. So that was one of the other issues too, like if we're being dishonest about who we are because they don't know and we haven't disclosed whether we're gay or bi, trans, or DL or whatever, and they have issues with that, and that type of thing. And so I got in here to do masculine, gay, bi, me, and need to tell informed head women of their sexuality in order to make them comfortable and or accept. And I've talked about that before. Straight people, they a lot. I mean, why do I have to make myself uncomfortable to make you comfortable? You're not making yourself uncomfortable to make for me to make you're not making yourself uncomfortable. I mean, what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm trying. You're I have to be uncomfortable to make you comfortable. And I think I heard that from I was watching Craig, Craig the writer Stewart. I was watching him and Keon one day, and then that statement, I think that's where I got that from, and that statement stuck in my head. Like that is, we run around, always trying to make ourselves, make straight people comfortable, but they don't care about making us uncomfortable. Right. So we have to change or everything about us, or be this way or that way, or stay in the closet, or whatever, to make them comfortable, but in the process we make our own self uncomfortable. But they ain't doing nothing to make us. They're not doing anything to make us comfortable. Right. They're gonna be and act and do whatever they want and say whatever they want. Right. Yeah.
So that is true. We do have to. Well, we don't have to, but we tend to when everything is all about just heterosexual stuff or whatever, we tend to dim our lights a little bit so everybody can feel. We do it in the barbershops, we do it in the churches, we do it in just family gatherings or whatever. So yeah, you're right. But as far as this question right here, if it's not going into a romantic whatever, I don't think I have to tell you that. I mean, if you're not, because first of all, if you're a female and I'm gay, I'm not showing any interest in you that type of way. If you think that, then you have misjudged something. And I'm sorry, but if you feel like you're picking up some romantic things, or you feel like I may be somebody that you want to talk to, then once you tell me that, I'm gonna let you know, oh sister, no, I'm sorry, no, or whatever. But I don't have to tell you that before, because before we're just colleagues, we're friends, we don't
have to run around wearing our sexuality on our sleeve,
So, but I wouldn't. Yeah, you don't have to tell anyone that unless it's to me, unless you're going to a romantic kind of relationship or whatever.
Okay, we're probably, we're about through here. So, and it says many phobias start because of a bad experience or panic attack related to a specific object or situation. Mm-hmm. Sometimes even seeing or hearing about a bad experience can be enough to trigger a phobia. Genetics or learned behavior. There may be a link between specific phobias and the phobia or anxiety of your parents or friends or religious groups. And a lot of times we just don't know we have a phobia. And just because we say that Claudia is transphobic, you know, or whatever. Now, colorism, that's problematic, but you know, depends on how deep your phobia goes. You know, like if it's a hatred, you know, or whatever, or just this real fear. I don't think that Claudia or you know some of the people we've talked about or whatever are they have a hatred towards, you know, gays and trans and stuff, you know, like that. But I do still think that they have you know, they have a phobia. You know, they have some type of phobia. You know, whatever has happened in their lives, whether it be their family, friends, or religion that has contributed to you know, their way of thinking, you know, and those type of phobias, you know, you know, they might not rear their ugly head all the time, but there's times when those phobias do show themselves and you can tell it in her comments and her body language, you know, and other ones, you know, or the comments and stuff that comes out through some of these channels that I've been watching or whatever. You can hear the phobia in those people, and they don't want to admit that, you know. And Claudia, you know, she'll say, you know, well, just because I don't have the same view as you, or don't believe, or I think differently, or something, you know, like that. That doesn't make me homophobic. That doesn't make you transphobic. No, that doesn't make you homophobic and transphobic. But it's what you said, you know, and how you say it and display it, you know, which leads you to the trans thing. And it's more like you know, you're not actually talking about a specific thing, like what the person had on, or what the person you know, what the person did, or, you know, or a comment or something that made you know, you actually go in on their identities, you know, and that's what she does. And that's what some of the women do. They go in on the person. They take it personal. They make it personal. And instead of reading the person or dissing the person or commenting or something, you know, like that, because the person said this, or that they're, you know, you know, their clothes, you know, or you know what I mean, or something, whatever. They bring more into it, you know, and they start going in on the person's identity, and they shouldn't be allowed, you know, that, like they go in on their humanity, you know, and then they attack you know, they'll attack that, you know, they'll attack that instead of their behavior. They're attacking the person personally. To me,
that's what you know. To me, that's how people are, though. They're always gonna attack what's easy, you know, and that's you know, and that's the thing that you know, I can get a lot of people on my side when I go for this or whatever, because I know a lot of people are gonna think the same thing or whatever. That's just a easy thing to point out someone's sexuality or whatever, their identity or whatever. I think you really are showing your true colors. You're really telling me how you think and how you feel, when that's the first thing. Like, that's always the first thing you go after. Is that my sexuality or my identity? Why does it have to be the very first thing? That, you know, right? That's your weapon. That's your big weapon right there, or whatever. Why is that always the weapon? It can be like, you know, you need to get more knowledge, or you need to study more, or you know, or broaden your horizons or whatever. It's always my sexuality, my identity. That lets me know that that's a big issue that you have with me or whatever.
And it's just like, you know, and to give it like an example of that, like when I said something about Claudia, you know, whatever, I'm attacking the words that she said out of her mouth. To me, the color. I haven't attacked Claudia's gender. You know, I haven't attacked her, you know, her womanhood, you know, or whatever, you know, what, you know, her female and her femaleness or whatever stuff, you know, like that. I'm attacking what she says, you know, the comments and stuff that she makes out of her thing. I don't have anything against her being a woman, a beautiful woman, because she is a beautiful woman, you know, or whatever. I have nothing against that or whatever, but I do have something against, you know, the stuff that you say, you know, when you say that you are friends with gay people and stuff, you know, or whatever, but then you contradict yourself with, you know, I don't get so-and-so from no man with no mustache and stuff, you know, like that. And then men shouldn't be doing this, and women, you know, trans should not be in here, and trans this and trans that, and gay men this, you know, so and so, when I said something about her being a colorist, it's because of the remarks that you made. Had nothing to do with you being a woman or a light-skinned woman or a mixed woman or a black woman or whatever, however you identify yourself. It was the comments that you made. But that's not what Claudia and some of these other women are doing. They're attacking our gender. They're our gender identities. They're attacking our queerness, or whatever with these comments that they made. They're, our transness, all of that type. That's what they're going in, and that's what they don't like, or whatever. And they use it as a weapon. And there's the difference between, saying that you are, when she says when these women are going in these comments saying we're attacking them because they're black women. Nobody's attacking them because they're black women. My mother is a black woman.
Right.
My father is a black man. Like you said before, my sisters are black women. Right. My cousins and them are black women. Whatever and stuff, like that. We love them. They love my friends are black women. Right. We love them. They love me. Right. They love you. Whatever stuff. So all that is craziness. Whatever. We're attacking what you what you said, and your what you said, and then your body language also displayed what you were saying, and now lets me know that you are a colorist, and you are transphobic. Doesn't mean that you are a bad person, whatever or anything like that, but that's there. And then so then I have here, it says, a high value person is someone who has qualities and characteristics that make them stand out from others, and who may also have a strong sense of purpose, integrity, and empathy. Okay, that's a high value person. It's not it's not what's it called, what is it, six figure? It's not a six figure income, or $1 million or whatever and stuff. And that's where a lot of people get it mixed up, and then they can go through their whole life lonely or not married, not just women, but anybody, because they think money, they think having a lot of money is happiness. Right. And it's not happiness. It might bring you some joy in the beginning, but eventually, you're just stuck there with you and your money. Right. Okay. Right. So, and take it from people who have money. You know what I mean? That has never brought me happiness. It's only brought me able to afford things. I can go on vacation. I can run here. I can buy this. I don't have to worry about my electricity and phone being cut off or stuff. Like that. I can put my son in private school. That type of stuff. But that didn't bring me happiness. Right.
A high value person to me is someone that's kind, that's authentic, that's humble. Just not all that superficial stuff. I mean, that can come with it, but I want to get to the heart of the matter. Who you really are. Your heart, your values, your morals or whatever. Not how much you made, what you drive, where you live. What you can do for me, and where you can take me, and all this. No, I mean, that's not a high value person. That's very superficial and selfish. I mean, that's just you're out to get, and like I say, be who you want to get or whatever. It's like you're trying to live in this fantasy world. It's almost like you're trying to build a man or build a woman. Like that, build a man or whatever to whatever your standards are, and it's like you take away you just take away the essence of what it is to be just a human, to be kind, to think of others, to just I don't know, just be a standard upright citizen, and appreciate others and take care of, family, take care of your kids, all that stuff. The stuff that really matters to me is the stuff I would be looking for, and not so much all this superficial stuff. I mean, if you got the money, that's good too. But at the same, right.
That's not going to bring you happiness.
Exactly.
Not that type of happiness that you know.
Exactly. So yeah.
But anyway, I guess we better get out of here. What you got any last?
So my only last thing, I just take it from the poll that we put up, that we just need to have these conversations. We need to have these panels or these town halls or whatever. However, you can bring these two communities together, the black gay and the black woman, and even with that, the black men as a totality with the black women, and have these hard conversations and actually get to the root of it. Like we started at the beginning, we mentioned competition, but I don't really know. So let's have this conversation. What is the competition you see? What is it that you think that we have or don't have, or that we're taking your place or whatever? Let's have these hard conversations. I think that's the only way we can get some of this resolved and change mindsets and how we actually walk this through. It's just to have these conversations, and then understanding, put yourself in the other person's shoes or whatever. That's going to help when you go to these polls and when you're supporting Black Gay Matters or even Black Women Matters. When you put yourself in the other person's shoes and like, yeah, their life does matter, or yeah, I think they are owed this or whatever. And until we do that, I don't see this going anymore. So any further, getting any better. So yeah, to me, just have these conversations and have the understanding of what we all can bring to the table. And I guarantee you, once we have these conversations and we put each other, we can all get in the same room, we'll find out that we have more similarities than differences, and we'll actually find out that there's something that I can glean from you, and there's something you can glean from me, and we just help each other.
Right. Yeah. And we're not against.
Yeah.
This whole narrative with that I'm getting these comments that these black women be putting in there, like, if it ain't the black men, then it's the gay men. It's like, that whole victimization thing, like everybody is against us and stuff, like that. It is so not true.
So not true.
It is so not true. And I don't feel like I have to, be in the comments sitting there saying, protect black women every other thing. Now there's some commentators that do that. They're constantly saying protect black women, protect black, and we, or you have to say we love black women. It doesn't have to come out of your mouth every 2 seconds or every comment just for the women to be secure and to support your channel, or whatever, or whatever. There's some gay content creators, that the majority of their subscriptions are women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so some of them go in a little bit too deep, and they go in all the time, and some of them will put down black men a lot, always saying black men is this, and the majority of black men are like that, so when that is not true, but they do that because they're appeasing these black women that are in their comments, right. and at the same time that they're appeasing these black women and saying that, and building them up, so that the black women can say, oh, thank you, I love you, and blah, blah, blah. At the same time, the black women are also making disparaging comments about them, and it's just like, like I said, the ones sitting up there with wigs and mustaches and whole beards and mustaches and stuff on, and saying that Claudia is your friend, that's not a true friend, because at the same time, she already made the comment, I ain't taking my cues from no black man, and she made the whole statement. She went on further, than just that, whatever. She's talking about you, okay? But at the same time, she's saying you're her friend, like y'all are friends, but at the same time, she just tore you down. You're what she's talking about. you know, and then to say, oh yeah, I have friends trans, you know, I'm not transphobic because my friend trans this so and so, but she's constantly making these disparaging remarks and comments about trans people, you know, but because she's your friend, you know what I'm saying? Then you're not going to make any comments or something about her, and you're going to accept that type of stuff. No, she's talking about you, okay? And in the background, you know, she's a closeted transphobic, trans homophobic, and she's a colorist. You know, my opinion, everybody's opinion, but that's my opinion. But anyway. Okay, so everybody, you know, we appreciate you for joining us today. Thanks, Slick, for all your you know, your comments and stuff.
Thank you.
Mhm. And then so we appreciate you for joining us today. And you know, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
Yes. If you're watching later, leave your comments.
Yeah, leave your
We'll read
comments.
them.
Yeah, we'll read them, and then we'll get back with you. You know, whether they're good, bad, or indifference, you know, or whatever stuff. We, you know, we appreciate everybody who, you know, come in. We appreciate your comments, you know, and opinions. You know, we don't always agree, you know, on everything, you know, whatever, but we still appreciate you for subscribing to our channel and, you know, watching us. You know, we look forward to hearing what you have to say. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Oh, you know what? I am going to play this one little video. You know, this was I played it earlier, but I'll show this again. You know, of you know, like the African tribe. You know, where they, you know, there's different tribes and different places in different countries where men wear makeup, and it's not a shame thing or it's not taking anything away from women. And so as you can see, those were men, okay, and the women were off to the side. The women have no issues with their femininity. They don't have any issues with the men dressing up with makeup or anything with as you know, women. That's how they choose their mate, right. You know, or someone to marry. They got, you know, with that makeup, you know, and their eyes and their teeth. You know, they're looking at their eyes and teeth. That's what they say. You know, whatever, and how strong you know how strong those men can push out that femininity and stuff, and that's how those women choose. Right. You know, yeah, it ain't the United States, but you know, the United States ain't everything either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you know, there are different cultures and all other type of stuff. So you know, men are not making fun of women. So, and I don't think we have to just always sit up, you know, sit and say protect black women. You know, our actions is what shows that. Right. Not what's coming out of our mouth. Is our actions. Right. What we do to help support you and stuff, you know, like that. And we would like to ask the same. So, but thank you again for joining us. Bye, everybody. Bye.